every time you hear of the presence of God, you will find one of these things. Either you find light, or you find sound, or you find fire, or you find coals. They represent different things. It is the coals that activate your mantle. You can carry a grace, it will never manifest. He said, in the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord. He had a tongue, he had a title, but he had no mantle. He was a messianic prophet, but he was loitering about, never manifesting. The moment his tongue was touched, he came out of that vision, and the next thing he said, a virgin shall be with child. It was always there, but he couldn't communicate it. There are many powers we carry, but we must touch the lively coals. Because if that iniquity remains in you, that fornication you are doing in hiding, that lying, that exaggeration, it will take a coal to realign you. Ministry can bring money and bring a little influence. That is not your calling. When your calling begins to manifest, the nations will hear of it. The nations will gather around it. Kings will come there, because it's a law in the spirit. And the fire is what brings intensity, because he maketh his angels spirits, but his ministers, by all means, they must be flames of fire. And so if you have not passed through that fire for you to be intensified, you will be too cold for the devil to be troubled by your presence. Hope you know that the punishment that was given to the devil was fire. And so every time the devil finds a man on fire, he reminds him of the messianic judgment. He said, I will cause a fire to come out of you, and it will burn you to ashes. And so when you see a man of fire, he brings torment to darkness. That torment is why he advances God's kingdom. You can't be lukewarm, you can't be cold and say you are representing God. It's not possible. And so many times, those of us who understand the business of thrones, if the fire is going down, we shut down, because you can give up that invitation to keep that fire burning. He said the fire on the altar must not be put out. He said the priest must put wood on it every morning. And so you wake up in the morning, you'll find a chant. If there's no chant, you'll find a verse of scripture. If there's no verse of scripture, you'll take a prayer walk. And as you are moving, Kakorwa, Kakiza, Azuzo, Pakarato, Ariada, Kubaka, Azazono, Maraktua, Teatua, Tua, Erakagatutuka, Azorak, Tei, Haromo Saka, Ora Bayotwa. After a while, you will notice something. Your dimensions will begin to change. See, we are not ordinary, sir. Some of us carry horns. Some of us carry wings. We are not ordinary. See, the reason God allowed us to look like men is so that they don't run when they meet us. Hope you know we need to evangelize the world. But if they see our dimension, they will run. The psalmist said, my horn have thou exalted, like the horn of the unicorn, because I'm anointed with fresh oil. That means every time fresh oil comes on you, your horn grows. Imagine if you walk into the UK with a horn. They will run away. They will think you are the devil. But that horn represents authority. That horn represents government. That horn represents power. You don't know. You don't know. Some of us have wings in the spirit. Why do you think somebody is doing something for 5 years? You do it in 6 months. And they are wondering what happened. The hand of God came upon Elijah. They outran the chariots of Ahab unto Jezreel. There are wings. There are wings. Man can take 10 years, you take 3 months. They can take 20 years, you take 2 years. And they are wondering what happened. There is a motion in the spirit. They say, for they that wait upon the Lord, they mount up with wings like the eagles. They mount up with wings like the eagles. He said they will run, they will not be weary. They will walk, they will not faint. So when men are tired, that's when you are starting. They say, Kai, this thing is not easy. You say, I'm just starting. I'm just booting. I'm just booting. I'm just booting. Katoria, Arakano, Sagabata, Azezazunua, Arakatotwata, Ayelo, Baraka, Ayako, Makangre, Telataru. Oh! Why do you think our fathers have done this thing for 30 years and they are as fresh as though they started yesterday? Apostle Paul was ministering to us here in the morning. He has been ministering for more than 3 decades, but it looked as if he started preaching yesterday. Fresh, powerful, young, as though he's a teenager, because there is something. There is a dimension that does not grow old. The outer man perishes, but the inward man is renewed day by day. That's the fire of the presence. You can't lose your fire. That's your signature as a witness. He maketh his angels spirits, but his ministers, they are flames of fire. It's a government of the presence. The 50 you find in the presence is the water. In Psalm 46 it said there's a river that flows from the throne of God. He said the tributaries make it glad the cities of God. In Revelation 4:6 it said under the throne is a river of glass. And what that river does is that it brings peace, it brings joy, it brings stability. And so when you find a man of the presence, nothing can move him. It's like Mount Zion that cannot be moved. That's why the Bible said in thy presence there is fullness of joy, at thy right hand pleasures forevermore. And Nehemiah 8:10 said the joy of the Lord is my strength. So there is a strength on your inside that the devil cannot understand. Apostle Paul came, he was supposed to minister this morning. Yesterday they stole his Range Rover. He didn't affect the message because there is a joy in the spirit. Nothing moves you, nothing shakes you, nothing throws you off. The devil throws an arrow, you say, is this the best you can do? Throw your best shot. I'm standing here. Throw your best arrow. I am standing here, for I am like Mount Zion that cannot be moved. It said, be anxious for nothing. It said, by all things through prayer and supplication with thanksgiving let your requests be made known unto God. The peace of God that surpasses knowledge. It doesn't make sense. There are some that their husbands die, they are preaching. Their wives die, they are preaching. Their children die, they are preaching. They lost their job, they are preaching. They lost their car, they are preaching. And you say, what is going on? I'm a man of the presence. When I entered the presence, a fountain was activated on my inside, because it said, they that believe, out of their bellies shall flow rivers of living waters. Rivers of living waters. I cannot be moved.